I want you to go up to any millionaire and ask them the most important days of their lives. Especially if they started building their empire at a young age. They will tell you that it was their 20s and 30s when they put their head down and focused solely on their work. There's a quote by Dave Ramsey that perfectly summarizes this. It goes like this: "Live like no one now, so you can live like no one later." Remember, brothers, the energy you have now in your 20s is a gold mine. One of the biggest lessons you will ever learn in life is that speed is king. I will say it again, speed is king. This energy and time you have in your 20s is a heaven-sent blessing that you need to cherish. Use it as fuel to do everything with speed. Set up businesses with speed. Learn about them with speed. Simply put, whatever you do, give it your all and go all in. This is why you need to constantly be checking yourself during your 20s. Analyze to see whether or not you are using this golden time period or wasting it. According to science, a man's brain is still maturing up until the age of 25. Meaning, the actions you do in your 20s are becoming a part of your identity. Whatever you do in this decade will basically become your personality trait, your habit. This is why when society tells you, "Oh, you are a young, handsome man, why don't you go and sleep around? Why not take advantage of your youth? Why not commit every sin out there?" But you know that your mind is still adapting during this stage and will become used to any and every habit you throw at it. With that being said, let's discuss the 9 signs that you are wasting your 20s. Number 1. Saying no more often than yes. This might sound like a contradiction to some of you, because we have often discussed the value of saying no on this channel. But especially when you are young, saying yes is one of the greatest things you can do for yourself. There's a saying that saying yes makes you money, but saying no saves you time. During your 20s, your whole focus should be on building, not saving. This is the time to take possibilities more seriously instead of responding with "I can't" out of habit. Think of your 20s like a buffet. You need to firstly expose yourself to all the opportunities out there. Take a small taste of everything in front of you. Understand what each opportunity tastes like, what it demands, how it works. That will only happen when you learn to say yes, instead of saying no. Number 2. Staying in a degree or job you hate. Ever since I was a young man, I would go into my room and always pray about one thing. I would say, "Dear God, I don't want to work under someone for the rest of my life. Teach me how to earn a living for myself where I am free to live my life as I want." That was the biggest motivating factor for me to never work a job where someone else would boss me around. And so, while my school friends were working as cashiers or at McDonald's to build their resume, I was sitting at home learning about online businesses. Like I said before, you have the most energy during your 20s. So I would even spend whole nighters sometimes trying to understand how different businesses work, how they operate, and so on. Because as I said before, speed is king. This doesn't mean that you need to go out and spend whole nights studying businesses as well. But like I understood my reason and motivating factor, you need to understand what that motivating factor is for you and work at it full speed. If you hate the degree or job you are in right now, change it as soon as possible. If you are already in a job that you can't leave, then use the energy of your 20s to start a hustle on the side that eventually replaces your full-time job. Don't let any excuse stop you from building yourself up in this decade. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather spend 4 years to start a business that aligns with your purpose, or spend 40 years in a job that you hate, only to get the last 10 years of your life in retirement to supposedly have fun? Number 3. Complaining about your life, but not making an effort to change it. If social gatherings with pals have evolved into bickering sessions about your life once a week, this may be a red flag that something has to change. When times are difficult, it is acceptable to whine and grumble, but if everything you say is negative, maybe the "I hate my life" sentence is looping over and over again, then it is time to change your attitude. Start by making a list of things that are irritating you. As childish as this may sound to you, writing down your thoughts is one of the quickest way to get them off your mind and see them from a bird's eye view. so you can make rational decisions. Could it be that you are dating someone miserable? Or could it be that you are hooked on instant gratification and can't seem to find happiness in life? Whatever it is, make a list of your sticking points and take action. I will say it again. Actions carried out with speed without compromising quality are king. Number 4. Constantly comparing yourself to your friends. It is not a contest to see who can move out of their parents' house and go the longest without returning home or land the best job the quickest. It is not a sprint or a contest, since the best things occasionally require time. Comparison will kill your motivation, but gratitude will grow you unlike anything else. But here's the reality. Learn to compare yourself to others without killing your motivation. Unlike what society will teach you, comparing yourself to others is not bad in itself. In fact, every business in the world that has ever been successful began by comparing themselves to their competitors, learning where they are lacking certain elements and adopting better techniques from their competitors. Learn to do the same. But what most people do is that they compare themselves with others, not to learn from them, but to put themselves down. There's a difference between the two. Understand it. Number 5. Being afraid of what others think. When you are in your 20s, there's a great burden of performance on you. Especially if you come from a non-Western traditional home, parents have a huge expectation from you. Most of them want you to be a lawyer, doctor, nurse, or take on a government job to play it safe. But if you have understood anything by now, those days of playing the safe game are over. Just think about when the pandemic hit. How many people who played it safe got laid of their work and job? So without disrespecting your elders, learn to disagree with them respectfully on ideas that you know for a fact are true. Never compromise on the truth. Number 6. Stressing. In our 20s, we worry far too much about things that we soon discover are pointless. We worry about our jobs, our studies, our girlfriends, the issues we are having with our pals, and everything else the world throws at us. Most things we worry about are relieved by time, often without our intervention. So whatever is causing your tension right now will be forgotten in a week or two. Learning to control your stress now is one of the greatest acts you can commit as a man. Why? Because your stress won't be able to control you, and you won't take it out on society and people around you. Just look at all the so-called Karens we have in the world right now. If these Karens had only learned to control their stress, they would not be at the stage they are in right now. And it all begins in your young days. Number 7. Pretending as if you know it all. Even if you think you understand yourself reasonably well right now, realize that you will be a very different person in 5 years. Just go in your phone and check out your images from 5 years before. Compare that 5-year-old self to your present self, and you will notice a big change not only physically but also emotionally and mentally. In the same way, your present self is yet to learn a lot compared to your 5-year-old self of the future. Don't delay that learning process by thinking that you know it all. Learn to listen to everyone's idea, even if you disagree with them. Just sit quietly and listen to what they have to say. And only once you have joined all pieces of the puzzle together should you reply back. And finally, number 8. You are addicted to your phone. Remember, brothers, addiction in one area of life leads to addiction in all other areas of life as well. There's a beautiful example of a small stone. 100% of the time, it's the small things that will make you fall over. It's not the mountains or the large hills that make you trip and fall, but small pebbles. In the same way, an addiction that you might not even realize is harmful could be the very pebble that brings about your downfall. So many young men can't eat their food without having their phone in front of them. It's like the phone is babysitting you. You essentially turn into a child that can't eat their food without putting on Cocomelon on the screen. Instead, cherish your elders and loved ones that won't be there with you forever, and allow yourself to get bored, because that's when the greatest ideas come to mind. So remember, brothers, your 20s are your growth period. As I said before, this is the time when your brain is still changing and adapting. According to science, your brain fully matures by age 25. So the habits you do now will stick with you forever. Aim to be financially, emotionally, and spiritually free before 30.